Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear student, welcome to Finance and Banking class. I'm Nasir Farouk, lecturer at Greenfield School and College. Today, I am describe some mathematical problems and solve those problems. The chapter name is Cost of Capital. This is most important chapter for the student of class 9 and class 10. Today, I am describing the three formulas. First formula is cost of common shares or cost of general share. The second is cost of preferred share or cost of priority share. And third is cost of debt or cost of debenture. Also, there are three kinds of sources of capitals is long-term finance. When a companies collected money from different sources and make an huge capital for investment in any projects. They also analyze it. They also uh, uh, calculate which sectors cost is lowest and which option is preferable. By analyzing the best preferable sectors and calculation and collected money from those sources, because of we know that a financial manager always try to minimize the cost of a companies and maximize the uh, profit of the companies. Ultimately they will be uh, they are trying to maximum the wealth of the companies by due to for these reasons they also try to control the expense. They also try to um, find out the best options, best sources to collect it money from a companies. So dear student, now I am describing at first the cost of priority shares. You also cost of general shares. You also find out that here the cost of general share. The chapter name is cost of capitals. The mathematical problem solved. At first, the formula of cost of general shares. Its another call is cost of common share. Cost of general share. The K is here. The K is equal cost of equity or cost of general shares. K is equal D0 bracket 1 plus G divided P0 plus G into 100. Here also D0 is equals current year dividend. When an example is given the current year dividend that we let its D0. The another topics is G here. The G is equal to dividend growth rate. I mean when dividend is increasing after the time being after in a years, after some years, that's its rate. G I mean growth rate. And another most important topics is P0 here. The P0 is equal current market price. So dear student, now I would like to solve the mathematical problems. At first I mentioned specific formula, specific example. Please attention everybody, because of we find out the specifics elements, just like so three elements. One element is D0. I mean the current year dividend, and another is growth rates, and another is P0. These formulas, we find out the two kinds of mathematical problems or solve the two kinds of mathematical problems um, by applying in a formula. Also given there is two formula to find out the two kinds of math, but um, now I am trying to solve the two kinds of mathematical problems by applying the one formula, because of sometimes there is given a growth rate, then we let the growth rate, but when the growth rate is not given, then we let the growth rate is equal 0. By applying this technique we can calculate in any kinds of general cost of general share by applying these formulas or one formulas. So, dear students, please attention this. At first, I read some examples. First example, this is first example. Please attention. The present market price. The present market price of a share in a company is 110 taka. Here the market price. I am also mentioned the P0. Here the P0 is equal to current market price. So here the market price, I like to write the P0 because of market price is presented by the symptom of P0. 110 taka. So here P0 is 110 taka. The company has announced 10 taka dividend per shares. So dear student, I am also mentions here the D0. So D0 is equal current year dividend. Here the current year dividend. So I write that D0 is equals 10 taka per shares here. Calculate the cost of general shares. So uh, by this formula there is no growth rate, so I remain the growth rate is 0. So I write the uh, all of the elements from this example. Here the P0, I mean we know that P0 is current market price, so P0 is equals 110 taka. The another most important topics is D0. D0 I mean current year dividend. Here the current year dividend is equal 10 taka. uh, 10 taka and dividend growth rate. From this example there is no dividend growth rate, so I let the dividend growth rate is 0. So dear student, I hope you will be able to understand the all elements from this from these examples. I find out now. I calculate the cost of general shares. We know that cost of general shares presented by KE. Cost of general shares presented by the symptom of KE. KE is equal D0 1 plus G divided P0 plus G into 100. So I find out the cost of general shares. Here D0 is presented. Here the D0 is equal 10 taka bracket 1 plus G. I mean there is no growth rate, so G is equal 0. And P0 I meaning current market price. Here the current market or current selling price. I mean when a person sell in any product or any things, they should be go to the markets and they sell the product. It's called the market price. So here the market price P0 is equal 110 taka plus G. I mean G. Here the G is equal 0. So by applying this formula we find out the final results. In in this example, the cost of general shares or cost of common shares here, by applying calculations by help calculators, then we find out the total results is equal to 9.09%. So I hope all of the student you will be understand, you can understand this example. This is the general shares. At first I would like to describe some critical problems. Thus you should be remember this. When a company is uh, given the face value but there is no market value, then you should be let the face value is market value. Because when investors or when a shareholder sell the same price of the face value, then they are no mention the sales value. That's why we let the face value is the sale value or market value. So dear student, and now I would like to describe the second formula, second example. This is most important examples. Here also given the growth rate, I mean dividend growth rates. So please attention this here. Example 2. Mr. Korim wants to buy a common share of Taka 1000. I mean here is the face value. Face value, I mean the face value mentions in the every face of the share. The common shares of Taka 1000 and the company declares, I mean company declares dividend is Taka 12. So we know that the dividend is presented by D0. Here the D0 is equals 12 Taka. uh, it is found that the company's dividend increase, I mean increase is alternatives call is the dividend growth rate. So here the dividend growth rate is 5%. So I write the D0 or D is equal 5% every year. Calculate the cost of general shares. Please, dear student, you should be noted here. What it is noted that there is no market price. Also, I have called you. I have remember you. When a company is not given the market price, then we should be let the face value is market value. So now I write the all elements from this example. Here is the D0. So D0 is equal 12 Taka. D0 is equal 12 Taka and is the growth rates. Growth rates presented by G. Here the G is equals 5%. So when we find out the 5% and we may write the 0.05 because of when 5% find out by dividing 100, then we find out the 0.05. And another we should be we need the market price. Here there is no market price, so we let the market price P0 is the face value in the general shares. Here the face value of general shares is 1000 Taka. So the market value of the general shares is 1000 Taka. So dear student, now I uh, write the cost of common shares or a cost of general shares. Here the cost of general shares, we know that cost of general shares D0 bracket 1 plus G, I mean a growth rate divided P0 plus G. Here the G into 100. So I put all of the elements value. Here the D0 is equal 12 Taka bracket 1 plus G, I mean G is equal growth rate. Here the growth rate 0.05 divided P0. Here the P0 is equal 1000 plus G is equal 0.05 into 100. Now we calculations from this value, and find out the final results is equal 7.6%. So I hope all of the student can understand the cost of general share. This is most important, and this is an easy formula to find out the cost of general shares. um, you also show my two examples, and we are the calculation the two examples by using and one formula. So I hope all of the student can understand, and if we have any confusions, then it should be mentioned. Now I'm going to the next I'm going to the solve the next formulas, the next problems. Here also mention the cost of the priority shares. I know that there is the three sources of finance. At first, cost of general shares or general share. The second part is cost of priority or preferred shares, and third option is cost of debt. Here the cost of priority shares. Cost of priority shares presented by CAPI. CAPI is meaning the cost of priority shares is equal DP. DP, I mean DP here is DP is equal dividend of preferred shares. Uh, Dividend of preferred shares is equal. Dear student, here the CAPI is presented cost of the preferred shares or priority shares, and DP here the DP is equals dividend of priority shares, and NSB is equals net sales value. I mean sales value. Here the sales value, so we let the net sale value. By this formula we can calculate the cost of priority shares. Here also I am give an examples and try to solve these problems. Example 3, example long 3, there is a company is considering to sell 10% priority shares. Here the 10% meaning the DP, I mean dividend of priority shares. It is noted that please attention this, when a dividend is presented by a percentage, then we should be multiply the percentage with percentage. When we multiply percentage with the face value, then that's why we find out the dividend of taka. So here the DP is equal 10% priority shares of the face value of 1000 taka. The companies expect to sell, company's sales value expect to sell the shares is taka 820. This is the sales value or net sale value. Here the net sale value is equals 820 taka. Calculate the cost of priority shares. So we should be calculate the cost of priority shares. We know that cost of priority shares is equal CAPI. CAPI is equal DP divided NSB into 100. Here the DP is equal is equals 10%. It is noted that when it's presented 10%, then we multiply with the face value. Here the face value of the priority shares is 1000 taka. That's why we find out the amount of taka. 10% into 1000 is equals 100 taka. The another alternative is net sale value or sales value. Here the sales net sale value is 820 taka. 20 taka. Now I find out the specific cost of priority shares by applying this formula. Here the cost of DP is equals dividend of priority shares. Here the dividend of priority shares is 1000, and NSB, here NSB is equals 820 taka into 100. So by applying this formula we can find out the easily the cost of priority shares. Here the cost of priority shares is 12.19%. So dear student, I hope you will be able to understand the mathematics formula, two mathematics formulas and mathematics problems. This is the common problem. This is the common mathematics problems in finance and banking, and this is most important chapter for all of the all of the student must be careful in these chapters, because of a creative questions always given in every year, and these mathematics problems and easily no more today. Next class inshallah I will be describe the weight average cost of capitals or cost of total capital, inshallah. Thank you all to listening in my lectures and understanding in my lectures. If you have any problems, it should be mentioned in comment box. I will try to solve your problems. Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.